It was the quintessential American dream. Get a stable job, buy a big house in the suburbs with a white picket fence, and fill it with a couple of kids and maybe even a dog. But these days, the real American dream just may look like this, or even this. It's all part of a growing trend in the U.S. known as the small house movement, and it asks Americans to do something that is quite un-American: live within their means.
During recessionary times, we tend to be more conservative, and we tend to seek to reduce our costs. And one of the ways to do that is to seek a smaller home with a lower price associated with it.
Since the 1950s, the size of the typical household has doubled.
The paradigm here in America has been that bigger is better, but in the last couple years, that has proven to be not the case.
When the housing bubble burst, it took with it the dreams and homes of millions of Americans, and left many families choosing between putting food on the table or paying for the roof over their heads, and others looking for a better solution.
I think it's a better way to live. I really do. I think that it makes you appreciate what you have more. I think it gives you more time to do the things you want to do.
Meet Rebecca Wingham, owner of This, a 720-square-foot house in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. It's a third of the size of a typical household, and yet for her family, it's home.
It forces you to truly live with the people that you make your family with, rather than isolating yourself to different parts of the house.
With 23% of homeowners owing more on their houses than the property's actually worth these days, and foreclosures rising again in March, that idea might be catching on. So with a stagnant economy that's going nowhere fast,
there are huge advantages associated with unburdening yourself with those traditional costs of ownership. And really, that's what you do when you accept a very, very small home.
This is my tiny house. Come on in.
perhaps no one knows this better than Jay Schaefer. He invented Tumbleweed's tiny houses for one basic reason.
I was tired of paying for more apartment than I really needed, paying more rent, and I couldn't really afford a mortgage, so I built myself a tiny house.
This is Jay's house. Measuring at just 97 square feet, it is one of the smallest houses in the U.S. because his mantra is,
if you're living with just what you need and nothing extra, then everything is working for you. So living small is actually just living more freely.
So while millions of Americans are struggling with the large price tag associated with owning a big home, people like Rebecca and Jay, living in houses like this, are still pursuing the same American dream, but in a little smaller of a package. Reporting in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, Megan Lopez, RT.